Hello everyone, my name is Queen Amina and today's date is March 31st. Today is Thursday and I want to first of all thank you for tuning into my channel. Today is a little bit different. I have no idea what Father wants me to say, but I was just told to get on here, cover my head, and allow the Spirit to move through me. If this is your first time watching my video, I want to thank you. May God get the glory. But I'm getting that I'm supposed to talk to you about numbers and the significance of the numbers. And as usual, I'll just encourage you to pray and confirm and ask Father if this message is from Him. And you act accordingly. Another thing that I was supposed to do is to tell you that when you pray and you're asking for direction, to also ask Father, whatever the answer is, so if it's yes on the subject or no on the subject, Father, please, if this is you saying this and it is you, let me feel about it the way that you want me to feel about it, and prepare my heart and my mind and all aspects of me to do what you want me to do. Because what is the point of us asking for His direction on something and then when we get it, we ignore it? Excuse me, it's just like asking someone how to get to a particular place. And when we get the directions, we just ignore the directions because we didn't like the path that was shown to us. So I pray that we are obedient and get the understanding of why to ask for directions. Even while I was saying that, I was getting to just briefly explain to you what numbers mean, the significance of numbers, and it is significant. All of them I don't have I'm not going to go 1 through 1,000,000, don't worry. But all of them I don't have the understanding, but I'm going to give you what I'm supposed to give you, which is 1 through 10, with the exception of, 1 through 10. Okay, that's what I'm getting. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired out. Let me please, let me apologize for that. But tired, full of energy, still do. See, that is no reason why that should have failed, but that's okay. We're just going to roll on with it and keep it going. Let's see if we do this. You guys, I got to give me a camera crew. Okay. Hopefully the thing won't come out crooked. All right, so anyway, the number 1 means something unique, one of a kind. No other thing like it. We kind of spoke on that the last video about Baba being the only begotten. Number 2 means a witness to something. That when one says something, number 2 substantiates it. Okay. Number 3 also means a testimony, but a holy testimony. That's why when Jesus was born, it was 3. It was 3 wise men, as Americans say, and some people say that they were magi or stargazers, but it was 3. Okay. Number 4 means from every directions, covering every corner basically. So that's why there are 4 creatures around the throne of God. And also number 4 denotes the angels that are holding the 4 winds of the earth, from when destruction starts and when discipline starts. So that's what number 4 means. Number 5 means half of perfection or half of obedience. That's why there were 10 versions. Okay, half were obedient, the other half was sleep. So it represents the half of completeness. Number 6 is a very interesting number because 6 represents 1 number off from perfection. So I can't talk about 6 without talking about 7 and 9. Whoa. All right. Okay. There. That should be good. All right. So back to number 6. We're going to keep it rolling. Number 6. This is why the number 666 is wrote on the heads of the Babylonians, the foreheads of the Babylonians. Is because it's 1 number off from perfection, and the one number missing from that perfect equation is Baba. He is the one that's missing from mankind. He is the one that is missing from mankind's rulership, and their dominion over the earth. That should be good. Stay. All right. So that's number 6. And the other interesting thing about 6 is when it's turned upside down, it is a 9. And 9 is one number off from complete faithfulness. Number 10. Okay. 10 means perfection as well, as far as heavenly things and earthly things. So that's the interesting number. That's the interesting thing about number 6. Number 7 means perfection. It means completeness as far as earth. 7 days in a week. Number 8 means something new regarding the earth. According to what Father told me, that they were going to, after he holds the sun still, and after there's darkness on the planet for, I think, 11 days, 11 literal days on the whole planet, starting in Washington D.C. is what he calls it, that there's going to be a new day, a literal new day, and it's going to have a new name as well. So that's the number 8. Okay, 8 means something new as far as earthly things are concerned. Number 9, we already spoke about that. That's 1 digit off from being perfect, as it said here, perfect. And also, with number 9 being turned upside down, that means chaos. That's what number 9 means, upside down, chaos. Okay, and then I didn't get anything for 11, but I got something for 12, and 12 means holiness and royalty, and also 14, the number 14, like some people say only 144,000 are going to heaven, but Father told me that the people who are teaching this, they have the number wrong. It's those who have died, who have gone to heaven, and they are the first fruits that are to come back to earth as resurrected ones. It's more than 144,000 resurrected ones, or that's coming from earth, but these 144,000 in particular are the first fruits of something. And if you're not in the agricultural area, the first fruits means if you have an orchard of something, and I'm not trying to insult your intelligence at all. But for those who don't know, let's just say it for those who don't know. The first fruits of something are if you have, like, say, you have a garden of tomatoes and you want to show someone how wonderful your garden is. You will go through that garden and pick the best. Although all of them are nice, but there are some that are exemplary. So that's what the first fruits are. The first fruits are exemplary examples, I guess, that you can show someone of what you have in your possession. So that's what I'm supposed to tell you about the 144,000. The number 40 is a day of discipline, from what he told me, and also a day of testing. 40 represents a time period of being tested or disciplined. This is why Jesus went up for 40 days. This is why he came back for 40 days after he was resurrected. And this is why it rained for 40 days and for 40 nights. So 40 is a very interesting number. And also 30. 30 also means a time of meditation, of fasting. 30 is a number that God sets aside for mankind to sacrifice. That's what he told me. So you pray about that, and there's no offense in you praying about that. Another thing that I'm supposed to talk about, and I'm going to try not to get distracted because I have a lot of people. Where I'm at is very busy and very noisy, so I'm sorry if you hear all those cars zooming by. I'm right off of a highway, and I'm going to try to stay focused. But one thing that I'm supposed to talk to you about is the Prophet Muhammad. And I asked Father one time, when I first got called, I have to always go back to that. But when I first got called, I had asked him, you say that you know the Muslims and yet you say you are the God of the Christians, and you say that you are our Father. That part I didn't struggle with. I really didn't. I understand that He makes it rain upon the righteous and unrighteous. I understand that. But I had asked Him, you know, we are told in the Bible that, you know, your Son Jesus Christ. Stop. I'm sorry, I got a lot of distractions, but I have to do this. I have to do this. So, we are told that in the scriptures, you say that Jesus Christ is your Son. I believe that. But also in prayer, you told me that Muhammad is your son. So I wanted to know, Father, why is it that you tell the Muslims that there is no one beside you, and yet the Christians you tell something different? He said, first of all, let me explain something to you, Amina. And you guys pray about what I'm about to say, okay? He told me that when you have a covenant, or when you have a contract, like He did with Abraham's children, with Sarah, there were more details as far as the contract. There was more information, there was more enlightenment as far as what He was doing and the covenant that He was making with them. So, for instance, if I enter into a contract with someone over here, a formal contract, this person is going to have more detail about the contract than someone else that hears about the contract. I'm not ignoring these people over here. I'm going to give them what they need, but I need to deal with these people in their contract, but I will still be dealing with these people. Okay? So the people over here, those that were in a covenant relationship with them, first had the law, okay, that Moses wrote for them, that He had Moses write for them, okay? And then the law, when Jesus Christ came on earth in that time period, then the law was fulfilled, and now it had to be written on their hearts, okay? So I asked why that was done, and I'm going to get back to Muhammad. He said, because I was showing mankind that even if I give you rules to go by, you don't have what it takes to just serve me as far as rules. If there is no love involved in you following me, and if there is no devotion in a person following me, then the rules get lost in the sauce, basically speaking. He said that's why He had Baba come and show them, look, I'm fulfilling this law, but you guys are still missing the point. So now I want you to love me. I showed you how to walk in this way. I've given you everything you need, and so now follow in my footsteps. That's what He was telling them. He said, but when I called and when I turned my attention to the other side of Abraham's children, the ones he had with Hagar, now He had to tell them through Muhammad, look, there are so many gods, so many false gods. I have to come at you guys differently. Now I have to just tell you, there is no one except me. There's no other one besides me. That's what He told me. He said because the people of that time had been prone to making false gods and idols, so He had to tell them something that was tailor-made for them. And this is why He gave them the miracle of allowing Muhammad to write, to go into the cave. That's why you got to be careful when God tells people, go over here, I need you to write something. Go over here, I need to talk to you. You have to be careful. Let me put it on me. We have to be careful that we don't judge that, because if that person is really listening to God, you're yanking God's chain. And that person is still going to obey God. He's still going to obey God. So this is why Muhammad had to write. First of all, for those who don't know, he didn't know how to write. He was illiterate. I prayed about that. You pray about that. Father, does he know how to write? No. But I'm the God of literacy. I'm the God of literacy. So when we think that when our parents, when Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, that they was walking around grunting and we do God a dishonor. Please. He is the originator of language. Father even told me when Adam was here on earth alone, or the only human on earth, they didn't even open their mouths to speak to each other, but it was through mind movement, what is known in modern times as telepathy. All of us have the ability of telepathy, unless God is taking prayer away from you. Telepathy is just simply speaking with your mind and your spirit. That's all telepathy is. That's all it is. It's that and much, much more. So, back to Muhammad. So this is what happened, that he had given him the ability as a sign. There go those signs again. He had given him the ability to not only read, but to write. And that's why in parts of the officiating of Islam, when the newly chosen or the newly drawn followers of Islam who were intimate with Muhammad, every time they would go ask him something, he was like, hold on, let me go pray. This is what God said. This is what God told me. And the people, not those that were close to him, not those that were following God, but the people who had very little understanding of spirituality, or that were just religious folks, the good religious people, they were like, this guy is crazy. He is crazy. You guys are listening to a guy in a cave, but let me tell you something. God told me, look, if I'm in a cave with you, don't worry about it. If I'm underwater with you, don't worry about it. If I'm in a mental hospital with you, don't worry about it. Father does things the way that he wants to. He really does. Which brought me to this point. Why do you have different names? That was very important for me to know. I asked that question in 2007, November. I remember that day. And you know what he told me? He said, listen, Amina, just like a human can have a lot of names. He said there could be a man, his name may be John Brown, but the guys at work call him Buster. His friends from school may call him Buddy. His wife may call him Hun. His kids may call him Dad. His grandkids may call him Pop Pop. I don't need to keep going on, do I? But that man is not confused as to who he is. That's what Father told me. He said, I am not confused. He told me, that's why I don't ever want you arguing with someone about who I have come to them as. Because a person knows, Amina, my breath upon them when I deal with them. Now, I have been mistakenly misidentified as a lot of things. But I want you guys to understand, when I speak to people, I've spoken to a lot of people in my missions that were from all different walks of life. And not 9 times out of 10, but quite a few times, a lot of people that I had spoke to were like, well, you are not one of us, or you're one of us. And so when I asked Father, who exactly am I? Am I this religion or am I that religion? He said, Amina, you are being pushed into angelic status worship. Let me say that again. You are being pushed into angelic status worship. What does that mean, Father? He says what that means is there's no differentiating as far as the Buddhists are sitting on this side of heaven and the Christians are sitting over here. The only difference, he told me, the only differences that there are in heaven are the different species of angels. So he started breaking that down to me. He was like, okay, so let me explain to you how different people are and who you are. You're what's called a cherubim. Y'all better pray about that. What's a cherubim, Father? A cherubim is a spirit that I have sent back into this world and wrapped flesh around them to be first fruits. These are the ones that I put a passion, a devotion inside of me. Are you one of those type of people? Are you a person that you can't even help loving God? Are you a person that God has said, hey, I have known you from before the beginning of the foundations of the world? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why you have to be careful. I say this in almost every video. That's why you have to be careful in trying to identify who a person is. Some people don't go in a cubby hole. Some people don't have categories because they're coming from a higher status. They're coming from a higher station. And normally, Father told me, the higher a person, a creature's station is in heavenly places, the lower they'll be among society. So we need to be really careful on how we deal with people that we think are lowly or are nothing, or people that have no attachment to material things or prestigious things or things like that. That's why it's so important to know who we are to God. Wow. I'm surprised I said all that. But I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to be obedient. So this is why he told me that he told the Muslims, look, as a matter of fact, I need you guys to pray constantly on your face. I need you to stay on your face. But he said that they had lost the meaning and the spirit behind the prayers, because now the prayers have become just a religious ritual. Okay, on this prayer, when I pray for this, I'm going to, during my first prayer, I'm just going to pray for Thanksgiving on this prayer. So it's like when you are loving a person, and it doesn't have to be a romantic kind of thing. It could be you loving your parents, or your children loving you, or when love comes your way, I mean in the purest form, and you feel comfortable. This is what God told me. When love comes your way and you feel comfortable when love comes, you don't have time set aside specifically to tell them, I'm going to tell them at 7 o'clock tonight that I love them, and then at 9:30 I'm going to tell them I care about them. That even sounds ridiculous. You see, if you love a person, when the mood prompts you, love will prompt you to say, hey, I love you. I trust you. I feel good with you. I feel comfortable with you. You see, people tend to think when we see religious people, there are people who say when we see religious people that, or of a particular religion, oh, those people are very spiritual. But in any religion, it's still humans. So you have people that are what we call faking the funk, and you have those that are keeping it real. And you can't really tell just by looking at them. You cannot really tell. A person who really, Father told me, a person who really loves him, don't get offended when other people address them. So back to that man. So say if I'm friends with that man or that person that I just spoke about in that illustration of the one having many names, how am I going to be telling people, his grandchild, you can't call him Papa, and you can't call him honey to his wife? I don't have any authority in those things. I don't have any authority to tell a person how to address someone. Now, what happens if that man told that person, you can call me this, or you can call me that? That person has permission to address that other person like that. So I'm actually operating outside of my realm when I go and go, oh, that's no, you know. And I say that on purpose. I exaggerate when I say that, because a person can really be thinking, I'm chanting stuff down for the sake of the kingdom, and you're chanting in ignorance. You're chanting in ignorance. I used to wonder how God was going to tell people that his name was Allah. That the people who said, and Allah, if you have not seen I think it's the 3rd video, Allah means all. Let me just break what the name means for you, okay? Allah Rakba is the original saying of that name. Al, A-L, means all. La, like in Swahili, kulala means to sleep, or lullaby in English. Allah, all rest, Rakba, rest your back on the rock. Who is Jesus called? What is Jesus called? The rock. That's what it's called. He right in front of you. Somebody's name got rock in it. Oh my gosh, if you would just pray. If you would just pray. So as you get to know God, he will start telling you things. Now there are things that I've heard people say, and I was like, wow. I prayed about it, and God said, yeah, what they're saying is true. There is a woman, and she is speaking serious things. Some serious stuff. But he said, Amina, I'm going to use her. She is a modern day John the Baptist. You see, all of us have a part. if we allow God to show us where we stand. And you will get to the point where it doesn't matter what the person's religion is. Look, I'm supposed to say this. Let me say this quickly about Christendom. Christendom means dumb Christian. Christendom means fake followers of Christ. Christendom rules big in America. Here are some tips that Father told me. He said, Amina, here's some tips just to give you an indication if you are part of Christendom. If you celebrate Halloween, you're part of Christendom. If you celebrate Easter, you're part of Christendom. If you believe in homosexuality, you're part of Christendom. Do you see? If you serve Beelzebub, Beelzebub is a demon of riches. That's why in the scriptures it says you cannot worship God and serve Beelzebub. That's the name of it. That is the name of a, not powerful, but he have a lot of other demons that fall down to him and also corrupt other people. So when you hear people, Baba told me Amina, who is Jesus to me, and Muhammad, I said it. Yeah, pray about that. Not a coincidence that he is in the Quran and the Bible and in the Gita. All connected. Oh, now here we go. I know that probably made some people mad, right? But I can only speak the truth to you. And if me speaking the truth to you have you thinking that I am deceived, then just rebuke me in the sweet name of Jesus, and then he will allow you to know who he is and where he is and what he's doing these days, that he is not dead. Okay? So, anyway, what was I going to say? So, if there are particular things that you do, I was talking about Beelzebub, if there are particular things you do, you are a part of Christendom. Christendom is a group of people who claim and strongly believe in their heart that they are worshipers and following Jesus Christ, aka Muhammad, aka Baba, aka last Adam, first Adam. Whew. This video is on fire. I don't even know when I can upload this. I gotta pray about this. Yeah. All things are getting the light shine on them. Christendom is a group of people who think that they are the only ones who are going to have salvation. This is why when Jesus was on the earth, he had masses of people following him. And then Allah would have him say something to stumble a lot of people. You must drink of my blood, eat of my flesh. Oh, what is this? Oh my goodness. No, this can't be the Messiah. You understand? Yeah. A lot of things he said. He said the temple of Jerusalem would meet destruction. What a lot of people don't say is that actually happened 3.5 years after that prophecy. It did happen. In fact, those who here we go. Those who persecuted him and those who persecuted his followers and scattered them, they were actually 3.5 years later encircled by Tiberius, and they starved. They starved to death. So, Old Jerusalem will be just like the fake New Jerusalem. Those who think that they are in, I didn't say the real Jerusalem, I said the fake New Jerusalem. The fake New Jerusalem are the ones who think that they are in a spiritual relationship and that they are in a chosen covenant with Jesus Christ, and they are not. How? How is it? How do they know? Because in Matthew, Jesus said, not everyone's saying to me. A lot of people think, in the name, the sweet name of Jesus, Jesus is about to get a new name. He said he was getting a new name in the book of Revelation. That's what he said. He said he was getting a new name. Are you prepared for that new name? Well, I asked Father. Now, all of this stuff is a conversation that Father had with me. Okay? I'm just repeating a conversation that the Most High had with me verbatim, word for word. So when I say I asked, I'm just telling you this conversation that we had. That's what I'm doing. So I asked him, how can a person know if they are a part of Christendom? How will they know? And that was the criteria that he was giving me. He said, and first of all, number two, they will say to me, did not do this, did not do that. See those people I chanted down?